Hello, my name is Arjan. I'm the founder and creator of the Greenhouse Seed Company. And next to me, I'm very proud also to announce again another Cannabis Cup winning strain with the High Times Cannabis Cup. It won the cup in 1997. A very nice sativa plant. It's the second week now and it grew from 22 to 46 centimeters. We grow it in an 85-liter container and we keep the temperature here at 25 degrees in the day and 19 in the night. Humidity around this area is 50%. The pH that we give to the plants is 5.5, the ECU 1.4. It grew 39 centimeters this third week of growth. And it's up now to 85 centimeters. So you can compare it to the other sativas that are all in the 80s. This plant also, we raised the nutrients to 1.6. Today we're on day 29. We have 4 days in flowering. So the last week we did half a week of growing under 18 hours and then we switched over to 12 hours. And even with the switch over in that week, the plant still grew 36 centimeters. A marijuana plant needs 2 to 3 weeks to realize that he's changing his metabolism. He's going from 18 hours to 12 hours. So basically he's going from growth to flowering. Also means now that we're going to change the nutrients. We're stopping with the enzymes. We're going to a more flower combination, what the plant really likes. Next to me is Franco, my left and right hand within the Greenhouse Seed Company. And we're going to do now what we always do when we start the flowering period. We're going to cut down some branches. Franco starts at the bottom. We have a few reasons to do this. One of the first reasons is that we like a really nice airflow system under the plant. Second reason is that we don't want animals to crawl up through our plants. Anyway, indoor that will not happen, but outdoor that's one of the big possibilities, so you can keep it nice and clean. The third thing is that the bigger the plant is, the more growth goes into the top, and we want to stop that. Also, within 2 to 3 weeks the plant will realize that he's flowering, and we also want to have that growth will go into the formation of the buds.
And Neville says it's a particular plant because it keeps flowering, it never stops, and even if you let it go for over 14 weeks, she will not just die like most plants would do. She will just keep flowering on and on and on. I know people that flower this plant for 16 weeks and over. And when you do that, it's interesting because you can actually change the chemical construction of your flowers. THC is produced and it degrades then in CBD. So if you flower this plant for over 14 weeks, you higher the CBD content. And besides this really clear high effect, this really clear sativa high, you also get a very nice stone buzz, a very nice physical relaxing effect. So it's up to the grower to custom made his own bud when it comes to these high quality genetics. This plant we keep now at 5.9 pH, 1.7 EC, not too extreme conditions. We let the fooding intake maximize on potassium and phosphorus, especially for the hazes. We are now seeing that the plant is starting to produce flowers even in the lower part. This is due to the fact that the light can flow through. There is nothing too bushy here to prevent the light from reaching even the smallest and the lower branches. And that's why this plant, when it's grown properly with the right technique, can produce a lot also, even if it's a sativa and even if the bud formation is not as compact and as heavy as indicas. I now leave the word to Arjan of the Greenhouse and to Steve from High Times and the Cannabis Cup.
All hail the king!
Well, it's a pleasure for me to have Steve here in the grow room, the famous Neville's Haze. Cannabis Cup winner of? That's the question. Which year was it?
Third cup?
No, long past, no, 1997.
Okay.
Won the High Times Cannabis Cup in 1997. Basically the Seed Cup, actually. Seed Company.
Right.
And
this was Neville's favorite plant.
Neville's favorite plant. A lot of people's favorite plant, a lot of celebrities' favorite plant.
But it's too hard to grow.
Well, the thing is, it grows 14 weeks, so people don't have the patience. Sometimes 16, it depends, You could have a seed that grows 16, 14. But the problem is, in Holland, all the seedlings are low. So nobody wants to grow it, but they don't know how to do it. That's more important, because you can kick out the growth, as you see. This plant won't get much higher, so it's easy to grow this indoor. You can put like 6 plants on a square meter, and you'll get your money for it. You'll get twice the money as you get for an indica. Basically due to High Times, only from the 90s, there's a kind of pot thing happening in Holland. Before that there was no pot. And the pot that started with was all the skunk. And everybody was just growing those short indicas and making it easy for themselves. For example, we were with the Greenhouse winning a lot of High Times Cups. The people started realizing that the sativas are more valued than the indicas in the end because they're a nicer smoke. Right. And people enjoy them more. So now you see lately more coffee shops coming up in the competition of the high times. I'm getting more competition.
It's Neville Haze time at the 2004 High Times Cannabis Cup. We took a little bit of time away from the Melkweg, from the crazy full-on judges that are lining up at the vaporizer table where we give free sample of all the Aryan hazes. And we are now here at the breeding facilities where we can talk a little bit about this plant. It's a really interesting sativa plant, the Neville Haze. 21 days into flowering. You can see how empty this plant is. You can see me pretty good through it. You would not be able to see me like this through an indica plant. Most people think because it's a haze, it will not give good production. That only will happen if you don't allow the full development of the plant. If you do allow the full development, if your space, your logistics allow you to give her space, she will produce a lot of buds and a lot of heavy and big buds. This plant is now at 5.9 pH and an EC of 1.7. We give extra phosphorus and extra calcium to the plant for maximizing now the flower development. We flush regularly with a pH of 5.5 in the solution and an EC, really low EC of 1.2, 1.3, and we see what comes out from the bottom of the pots. So collecting that solution and analyzing the pH and EC, we can compare it with the original 5.5, 1.2, 1.3 of the flushing solution, and we can see if our salts are under control. By doing this, we can really maximize flower production, we can maximize the metabolism of the plant.
Back in the corner, we have Neville's Haze. And this was the one that started the entire haze craze.
Yeah,
the haze craze.
That's
like the haze craze was started with this plant.
We are a few days after the Cannabis Cup. We won it again with Arjan's Haze. In front of us you see the Neville's Haze. We are day 28 of flowering. You see how high it now is? The growth is out. Beautiful internode distance, very open plant. And everywhere you see the nuggets coming on this plant.
What we are doing now about feeding is keeping the pH at a 5.7 and an EC around 1.7, 1.8. And when we flush, we go dramatically down with pH, 5.5, and we keep a 1.3 EC to be sure to stay low and see the outcome of the flush.
Look how the build-up of this plant is. Everywhere small little nuggets. A real sativa plant.
Our 90-degree extensions, unbelievable. This plant goes so wide, looking for light and air and space, and if you let her develop properly, the production will be amazing for a sativa. We just had a grower's report from far away in Australia recently, and I've seen pictures I could not believe myself outdoor for this plant.
This is a plant that's the slowest of all our sativas. It's still, we're going to finish it off pretty quickly, but it's slower than the rest. Crystal production already, nice colors on the branches.
The plant is really light, there's a lot of air and light going through, so the development of the flowers is really uniform, even inside the plant. These little nuggets here are as hard and as white as up here already. It's really pretty amazing development. And the woodiness of the smell, it's when this gets ripe, it's scary, it's really scary, it's so hazy.
We are in the week 9, so day 57. This is the longest flowering sativa we have, but also one of the best we have. And look how nice already. Look, all those beautiful buds. Look, you can see the THC on the branches everywhere. It's getting really white now. And it smells delicious.
A few technical enlightenments for this stage of the flowering. We're staying at a pH of 5.8 and an EC of 1.6, 1.7. We flush every week still at 5.5 of pH and 1.3 EC. We don't want to have salt build-up, especially now. It's a very delicate phase. And you can see the plant is doing a great job. Very uniform, very dark green, no deficiencies on the leaves. Very clean plant.
We are in week 10, so day 70. You see all the beautiful nuggets growing on the branches. A real sativa plant. Look how slim the leaves are. So look how many yield you have on this plant if you hold it like this.
Oh yeah.
You see? Look how many branches. This is only the top and then you have the down. Next to us, the famous Neville's Haze, Cannabis Cup winner of 1997. And one of the most beautiful plants in the world. If you can see now, we are in week 11. And we're going to go on for 2 weeks probably with this plant. Hairs are getting a little bit brown. It's totally white with sugar of THC. Beautiful structure of these nuggets here on the branches. Some people always question the yield of the Neville's Haze, but here you can see how beautiful structure it is. The wind can go nice through, the light can come to every beautiful nugget like this. And yeah, it's a nice build-up of a plant. Well, it's not a plant, it's a tree. It's like nearly 7 feet.
It's a plant that really gives satisfaction to the grower because it's a plant that requires patience and requires a lot of care, but really pays off. I mean, this is such a unique smell and unique taste and a unique structure that just incredible, really incredible. What we're doing with this plant at this stage of flowering, we're implementing a feeding program still because it has 2-3 weeks to go, and we're giving extra kalium, extra potassium for the flowering, as almost all sativas require. And as you can see, the plant has virtually no deficiencies, very green still, very dark. It's beautiful, the structure. Look how open the branches are, all shooting out 90 degrees horizontal. Even in the bottom of the plant, sneaking out from the bottom and looking for the light, getting long. It's beautiful. It's a real tree.
Next to us, the longest plant of the greenhouse seed company, the Neville's Haze, but also probably one of the best. We are in week 12. This is the fourth last week. Week 13, we're going to take it down.
As they say, last but not least.
Last but not least. But look what a beautiful colors here. What a resin. One of the most beautiful plants in the world, I would say top 3, top 4, with the Super Silver Haze, the Hawaiian Snow, and of course the number 1, Arjan's Haze number 1. But yeah, very, very nice smoke, very nice resin, and a must-be for every real sativa grower. Oh, look here, there's a fly here.
Sweet death.
What a nice way to die.
Fly too high.
It fly too high, it was very high. They say people can't OD on marijuana, but flies do, as you see. We are in week 13 with the Neville's Haze, big champion of the High Times Cannabis Cup in 1997. And it's a memorable day. It's 25 January 2005. And yesterday we won the big High Life Cannabis Cup Award with the White Shark. Today we're going to show you the manicuring of the Neville's Haze, what's left of it and how beautiful it is. It's the last sativa that we're going to manicure in our series, and after this we're going to smoke it in the smoking panel, or we all can enjoy it. So here's the result of the Neville's Haze after 13 weeks. Manicure. Look what a beautiful buds. This is Haze.